Hello and welcome to Women's Network Australia member interview series. My name is Sigrid Kaste. I'm one of the Women's Network Australia ambassadors, and I will shine the spotlight today on Katherine Kemp. Hello and welcome, Katherine.
Thank you, Sigrid. Thank you very much for having me.
It is so lovely to have you here. Now, Katherine is a jewelry designer and gemologist specializing in remodeling jewelry. Now, your motto is, from what I see, keeping what you love and making it even better. Katherine, tell us a bit more about that. That sounds intriguing.
Well, it's also joined in with the fact that it's a great environmental choice to repurpose your metals and repurpose your stones. And if, a lot of people have beautiful heirlooms and pieces that mean so much to them, but they don't really like the style anymore, they don't want to wear them, or they've changed metal colors from gold to silver, whatever the choice is, it's great they can come in and see me and we can sit down and we can either melt down the gold and create something new if the metal or the piece is sentimental, or they can even cash in the metal and the stones and create something completely new that they'll love to wear, that is more who they are now than before.
Yeah, updated, isn't it? We change our ideas, our styles, fashion changes.
We
Sounds
do.
really great idea that you can do that. Not something you have always done. You're coming from quite a different background. Tell us. How exciting.
Yes, well, I know my first career was a professional actor. And I studied when I was in Sydney and worked as a professional actor for 8 years in Sydney and around New South Wales. It was predominantly theatre with a little bit of film and TV mixed in there as well. So lots of touring, lots of Shakespeare, lots of kids' shows, wherever the paid work was. Because in those days, of course, there was no streaming, there was no social media. It was all, go out there and find the work. And it was a fairly small industry back in those days.
So I'm already making in my mind the connection from that type of art to the designing art that you are doing now. In the designing work you do in your business, is there anything particularly that you feel you really stand for?
Yes, there is. I do find that my designs are I try for them to be quite unique. And the most important thing to me when a client comes to me for a new piece or a remodel is getting to know the client and getting to know their journey, the journey before and the journey that's coming before them. So you need to know who they are, how they feel about this piece of jewelry, and what they want to achieve from it going forward. And for me, design is really centered around all of that. And often it can be a 2-week to 3-month journey of design with this person, with changes and shifts and ideas. And finally, you get to a piece that really means something to these people that is quite unique because it is only about them. So that's the way I look at design.
I love that, because when we say a diamond is forever, you really could say jewelry is forever in a way, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it should be forever, and it should be ever changing, because we don't stay the same at all. Not from 18. Some people get married at 25 and then on their 50th wedding anniversary, they're like, I want to do something different that says, this is who I am now.
For sure. Now, when you got into the business that you are now, how did you find entering that entrepreneurial scene of having your own business? I mean, coming from the background and going into an artistic area of business, there are probably a lot of steps, perhaps even hurdles that you have to jump to get to where you want to, and you might not even be quite there yet. Is there some things that jump to mind that you would really love to share with the listeners that could not only help them perhaps in their journey, but something you really feel has made a difference for you?
Yes, and let me firstly say I am not there yet, and I do believe that it is an ever-evolving experience running a business. When I had my first son in 2010, I didn't want to go back to work or work for anyone else. So that's how my business developed. and it grew quite organically from people who knew me in the gemstone industry coming to me for stones and designs. And I honestly say that I quite blindly maneuvered my way through running a business in the early days. And then as I met amazing women in business and started to take on networking and being a bit more open about my business and what I was doing and meeting various people, attending networking events, and learning that there are structures to a business. Get a bookkeeper, have an accountant, have a business manager. These are all people who have come into my business in the last 8 years, which has made an enormous difference to how I run the business. Because I am, I guess, a creative, and I do come from a very organic place when I'm running my business, and it's all about my clients and the designs and the journey. So it's made a huge difference to me to get out there and find the right team to help me run the business.
To get there. And I think everybody who goes into business experiences that, unless they've done, business studies or something beforehand. There's a lot more to it than we kind of imagine when we first step into it.
There's so much more to it, honestly. Yeah. And yeah.
And
Absolutely.
saying that you had to build it, put elements in, bring people in to help you with it too. This cooperation with others is an important element that I'm sure you would also notice when you're working with clients. You're sort of cooperating with them, or they are cooperating with you. How does that affect in terms of the clients that you bring in? Is it more women who we love our jewelry, or is it men equally?
I wouldn't say it's equally men to women, but I do have some amazing male clients who are coming in to surprise their partners or, get a wedding ring for themselves. I really do look at the gender thing quite equally. To me, it's not a man or a woman coming in, it's someone coming in, and it depends and whenever I'm working on a piece, I always talk about working with my client. They're not coming to me, I'm not working for them. We are always collaborating and working together. And it really is about the relationship. And I think those are the kinds of clients that I'm now attracting. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's perfectly what I was thinking you would probably be doing. And it's nice to hear that openly and have the listeners know that as well. Now, when you are talking about, bringing your business one step at a time and bringing people in and growing and getting to know more, that journey for women in business is a big one. And I think a lot of us do, like you and I, join networks like the Women's Network Australia. When you made that decision to jump into that network, was there anything particular on mind, and what have you experienced since you are a member?
I guess I joined initially I love women in business. I love women in business, and I love the generosity of women in business and the openness of women in business as well. And I probably joined up because I wanted to expand my brand name. I wanted to get it out there, and perhaps as a sideline of that, get some more clients. But it was more really about learning how I could grow my business up. And I mean, it really took a lot for my business to literally grow up. And I feel like since I've done that networking and met such a myriad of talented women in different fields of business, creative and academic, that it has opened my eyes up enormously to what I can do and how I can use administration to end up doing the things that I am passionate about within my business and also outside of jewelry.
Yes, absolutely. And I think also what I'm hearing through the lines through what you're sharing here with us too, the thing is too, when you are amongst other women, supporting each other is important. That is something you do. You support, I imagine, women to get to know more about what jewelry is all about, what goes into it, what you can and what you can't do from your expertise in that area, particularly with the gemology background as well. And so joining a network of like-minded women can be a very powerful, supportive grounding as well. Tell me, you touched on this earlier, so I'm going to ask you to raise this part of your expertise and your idea moving forward. There's a particular something you'd like to perhaps bring into the market, or maybe just talk about more. And I just named the one word sapphire, and you can take it from here.
Well, I mean, we're always looking for something that's a little bit different and niche. And in my case, I'm currently actually designing a small custom bespoke line, which will be ready to wear, that I'm going to be building to put on my website for sale. So this new collection will consist only of Queensland sapphires and diamonds as an accompanying stone. And I am really looking forward to promoting Queensland, Brisbane, the beautiful sapphires that are so unique to Queensland, which are actually getting more and more rare now. So that's what's coming up work-wise. But it's also really important to me to give back to community and to use my business and use my platform to also support other aspects of community around me. The arts are really important. Supporting women in business is very important. It's my dream to have a female jeweler full-time and grow my business in that way. So
fantastic. Yeah, that's great aspirations that I'm hearing here. And when we talk about this idea, this beautiful idea of putting a line or collection of jewelry around sapphire, particularly Queensland sapphire, just share with the listeners, the viewers of this interview with you, sapphire does not just mean one color, does it? There is
absolutely not. Absolutely not. Sapphire comes in every color. You can almost imagine from pink to orange, yellow, blue, the different ranges of blue. But what is very typical of a Queensland sapphire, and we see a lot, is these very unusual bright canary yellows, excuse me, and the party sapphire. So that's one of the most wonderful sapphires that we get from Queensland. And party simply means 2 to 3 colors in one gemstone. So very commonly, as you would know as well, Sigrid, it would be the blue and the yellow. Sometimes there's blue and yellow and white, or different shades of blue. It's an extraordinary stone, and I will be showcasing some of those in the new line too.
Looking forward to have a party of sapphires in that context with you. Wonderful. Thanks for sharing that, Katherine. Now let's touch a little bit on this excitement around the Impact Awards at Women's Network. You have made it to the finalists. How excited are you? What's going on in your thinking that could do for you, or what you could do with it for others?
Oh my gosh, I was quite taken aback and shocked when I saw that email come through. I feel incredibly humbled, and it is my intention to do as much as I can with that award to again touch on giving back to community and helping others. That is my intention. And I mean, it's incredible to be nominated, let alone be a finalist. Is just extraordinary.
Have gone so far with it, isn't it? I think that is something. For a moment one is a bit stunned, perhaps you sort of haven't even really taken it in just yet, and the thinking, the thoughts are running through to see what you can do, what can happen with it, and definitely making an impact. I think we all do that as women in business. You are doing that certainly with the business that you have started for yourself. So let me just give a couple of pointers. What I'm taking away from talking with you here is you've started from a very different background to go on along the lines of art into designing of jewelry, and you've done the gemology, so you're a qualified gemologist, which is fantastic in that area. You've come to support other women in the Women's Network, and you are here also to be supported, and I think that's wonderful. Women's Network Australia is a wonderful organization to be part there. You are all about giving back to community, and so I think that's wonderful for all of us and for you to develop further as you're moving forward. And the Impact Awards is at the moment that little cream on top of the cake for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
wonderful.
It's an enormous honor. You know, when you do things and get out there and do your business and go and do things in the community and make choices about what you're passionate about, even outside of your work, that's not something that enters your head. And to have that recognized it's a gigantic honor.
It's really great. So now I'm putting you on the spot. On the final note for this interview, what would you want to leave viewers, listeners with from today? Is there a big thought, a small thought, something you'd like to just put out there for others to know about, whether that's about business or particularly about what you do in your business? Does something come to mind for you?
The same thing tends to come to mind for me. What fills my bucket is, and why I believe that I have the success I have in my business, is because of what I put back out into the community, whether it's volunteering or donating or creating jewelry for people for a raffle or whatever it is. To me, it's you receive because you give back, and that's what makes me really happy and makes me feel like I deserve to be in my business. So I would say give back, because it is really satisfying and it's definitely something wonderful to do.
Absolutely wonderful message for everyone out there. Give and you get back. Give back and it comes to you. Absolutely fantastic. So lovely speaking with you today. Katherine Kemp from Ruby Jewellery, jewellery designer and gemologist specializing in remodeling jewellery. Thank you for sharing your ideas and your experiences with us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sigrid. It's been a pleasure.